webinar conducted by Department of Mathematics, PSGR Krishnamal College for Women. Now I call upon our webinar convener, Dr. K. Sumati Ma'am, Associate Professor and Head, Department of Mathematics, PSGR Krishnamal College for Women, to say few words about the webinar.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Saktikala. A very good morning to everyone who have joined with us for this international webinar on managing psychological emotions and stress in the working place during the crisis. It is my privilege and pleasure to say a few words about this webinar. This webinar is having a multi-dimension. One is it is an international collaboration, and the second one is it is an outreach program organized on behalf of Department of Mathematics. And the very third important feature is this is, even though it is organized in the name of Department of Mathematics, it is totally an alumni contribution. So alumni network, it is one of our plus points of Department of Mathematics. We have very strong emotional connect with our alumni members. And as part of the alumni contribution to their alma mater, this seminar is organized right from fixing their resource person to till designing the certificate. It has been organized by none other by a very sweet alumni of Department of Mathematics, Dr. S. Anuradha, head of the department, Hindustan College of Arts and Science. Dr. Anuradha, she has been an alumni of our department, and she has left our department long back. In 2000, if I remember rightly, 2012, she has left the department. But for the past 8 years, she has been in association with the Department of Mathematics, taking very actively involvement in organizing all the activities of our department, sending her students as participants, and she has been a board member of our Board of Studies member. And there is no need to introduce Dr. Anuradha to everyone who is attending this seminar, because she is a very known figure in this region. And she has organized single-handedly more than, I think it will come around 200 to 300 programs. And especially in this COVID period alone, she has organized 182 programs single-handedly within a period of maybe 3 to 4 months. And she has a very strong connect. She used to be a Senate member and whatnot. She's a very nice person to have collaborations with, not only academically, also personally. So with my personal involvement as my first student who has received a degree, PhD degree from Department of Mathematics as the first student, it is my privilege and proud to introduce Dr. Anuradha, and I request her to conduct the entire meeting from now onwards. And thank you very much, Anuradha, for having introduced to us Ms. Chia from Taylor's University. And I'm extending a very, very warm welcome on behalf of the Mathematics Department, Madam, to you also. And a formal welcome address will be carried out by Ms. Anuradha. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sumati ma'am. Now I call upon our alumni coordinator, Dr. S. Anuradha ma'am, Associate Professor and Head, PG and Research Department of Mathematics, Hindustan College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore, to welcome our resource person of today's session and our participants also. Anu ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. It's my honor to wish my Guru Pranam, ma'am. I wish my Guru, Dr. Sumati, ma'am. Without my Guru, I'm not standing here as an academic person in the world. My credit goes to my Guru only. With the guidance of my Guru only, I achieved everything. So, my Guru Namaskar to my Guru, Dr. Sumati, ma'am. I welcome all the respected participants in this international webinar. It's a very great pleasure to me to invite you all for this international webinar. Really, it's a great honor to invite the participants all over India and international participants too. We welcome you all for this function. I welcome Dr. Sumati ma'am as a convener for this function. I welcome the principal ma'am and honorable trustee ma'am for this international webinar. And I welcome the alumni coordinator of the Department of PHR Krishnamal College. And I welcome the staff members of PHR Krishnamal College and other members. And your respected participants, I welcome you all. I proudly introduce the resource person, today's resource persons. She is none other than Ms. Bang Chia. He is currently a lecturer and stream coordinator for the Bachelor of Psychology program at Taylor's University. Her areas of research interest include gender and media representation and personality development in genres of ideas and innovative solutions, coupled with her expertise knowledge and in the field of psychology. It's enabling her to be an efficient trainer as well. She has conducted multiple trainings and workshops for an in-campus and off-campus community, particularly in the area of personality development. I welcome Professor Chia, Stream Coordinator, Department of Psychology from Taylor's University, Malaysia, for this international webinar. We welcome you, ma'am. Really, we have an honor to have you here as a resource person, ma'am. Kindly start your session, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Associate Professor Dr. Anuradha. And also thank you, Associate Professor Dr. Sumati, for inviting me. My name is Ms. Pang Chia, and today I will give a short talk on how to handle crisis at workplace. So I'm going to present my PowerPoint slides now. If you give me a minute. Could everybody see the screen? Just double checking.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible, ma'am.
Yes. All right. So I will talk for about 30 minutes on how to manage emotions and stress in the workplace during the crisis time. And I have been doing a lot of workshops in giving tips for people, children, adolescents, and young adults on how to manage emotions and stress at workplace. So thank you for this opportunity. So for quick outline of my presentation today is we're going to talk a bit about what is your attitude towards your workplace, and we're going to talk a little bit about what is stress, how to manage your stress during a crisis and a crisis that's going on right now, and then why is it so important that we need to rest. After that, any Q&A, any questions, feel free to ask at the end of this presentation. So very importantly, we all have stress, okay? So it affects our psychological mindset a lot. So what is psychological when we talk about psychological in this context is basically the mental and the emotional that is going on within us. And stress can be seen as something good because it pushes you, it motivates you, but some stress are not as healthy as we want it to be. So stress can have an impact in your mental and your emotional. So why do I want to talk about your attitude towards your workplace? So when we talk about attitude, let me share a little bit of a psychological theory on attitude. I call it the ABC. So basically it's how you feel about your workplace, and then, which is affective. And then if you look here, down here is behavioral, your actions. And C is your cognitive, your thinking process. So if you all can close your eyes, and I want you to think about your workplace. First, I want you to think about how you feel about your workplace. Do you feel energized going to work? Do you feel excited? Or do you feel demotivated that you are not, you're just going to work just for the sake of, putting food on the table? And what are your actions? So that goes to behavioral. So what are your actions? Are you motivated to do more for the company or your workplace? Or you just want to do what is required of you? And lastly is what you think of your workplace. So these three are interrelated. All right. So you also can think about how you feel about this current crisis time, because this pandemic is happening around the world. It's not just in India. It's not just in Malaysia. There's a lot of things going on right now, and we can easily feel overwhelmed. So that's affective. So behavioral is, what is your action? What are you going to do about it? All right. So the last one is cognitive, is your thinking process. What's going through your mind during this crisis time? So let's identify these two main things. So in any workshops that I do, when it comes to about ourselves, my favorite question that I ask my participants is, what is within my control and what is not within my control? So very simply is that, what can you control? So it goes back to the attitude that I just mentioned, how you think, how you behave, or how you act, and how you feel, because that's within me. It's mine. It's my thinking, my actions, and my feelings. But what is not within your control? So whether it's a crisis or workplace crisis, you can't control what other people think of you. You can't control what other people do to you or how they feel about you. Another thing that is the main core of this whole discussion is the crisis. Did you want COVID-19 to happen? You didn't, but that's not within your control. All right, so there are a lot of things when we talk about crisis. It's not necessarily it's a pandemic. It could be a workplace environment. It could be the government. It could be the weather. So all this that is not within your control. So usually, when somebody is having stress or things like that, usually the first thing I usually ask my participants is it within your control? Or is it not within your control? Okay? So we go back to this whole thing of how you feel, what your thought process, what you're going to do about it. So what do we do? So when you face a crisis at workplace, it's very important for you to step back. All right, and then you need to process it. When in psychology, when we say process, it means that you need to ask yourself whether how I feel and how I think is actually valid. Or am I just running through emotions because I have anger? Because when you're angry, you can't think a lot. You can't justify in your head. So you need to acknowledge, what are you feeling? What are your thoughts? So most importantly, acknowledge and identify what's going through your feelings, what's going through your thought process. Then only try to understand what should you do next. Because a lot of times when we're angry or upset, we act without thinking. And that's not very smart. But sometimes it happens to us, because remember, we're only human. And the more you want to control your feelings, like, oh, I shouldn't feel this way, I should not feel stressed, I should not feel overwhelmed. Please remember, the more you control your feelings, the more it's going to explode much later on. So it's very important that I always tell my participants or my clients when I'm doing therapy and stuff, is that you're only human. And we have to acknowledge that it's okay for us to be angry. It's okay for us to be upset or things doesn't go your way. So it's very, very important throughout this whole process is to reframe your thoughts. When things happen to us, especially during a crisis, we need to try to see a silver lining. What I meant was that try to see whether, can I do something else? Can I see it a different way? I'm sure some of you, I'm not sure what is going on in the college right now. Like for me in Taylor's University, a lot of us are working from home. And a lot of them find it's very hard to work from home because you have your kids in the house, you have your husband in the house, or like for me, it's my husband. And you find that it's overwhelming, but sometimes we need to reframe a little bit. So what I think is that, okay, because now we're all stuck at home, I get to spend more time with my daughter, I got to spend more time with my loved ones. So it's very important that you reframe your thought process when crisis happen. Okay, so this is a very, I'm sure most of you know this. So what is stress? See, here is a sign of stress. So physiologically, sorry, is fast heartbeat. So for some of us, right, your heart beats really fast. You get moody. For some of us, stomach upset. For some of us, we bite nails when we're anxious or being unwell. You might experience some form of pain or aches on parts of your body, like your shoulders or maybe your chest, or sometimes even on the head that you feel, discomfort. You might feel lethargic, muscle tension, headache, or sore shoulder without any exercising or anything this can be signs of stress. So what are the other possible symptoms is sometimes when we are stressed, you don't feel like doing anything. So you procrastinate or you turn around in bed because you're unable to sleep at night because you worry about what's going to happen the next day. Well, currently, because it's COVID-19, we can't really have social events, but there are smaller social events. Sometimes we don't want to attend social events. Loss of appetite. For some of us, when we're stressed, we eat a lot, like you watch television or you eat a big bucket of ice cream when you're very stressed. You could have short-tempered. You could be easily nervous. For some of us, we deal with drinking more alcohol or even smoking even more. So, how do you notice someone is very stressed? They can be very unorganized. You can be unfocused, frequently at the edge, meaning that you're easily agitated. Your mindset, especially the mindset, is very negative. You can be forgetful, can't focus, don't feel like getting up from bed to go to work, easily agitated. So a few of this, it doesn't mean you have to have it all to identify that you're stressed. If you have some of this, you are going through some form of stress. It's very important for you to notice that. So stress can come from physical health. It can be from your mindset because your own expectation that you expect things to be better, you're expecting things to come along, things like that. Stress can also come from the environment where it's not within your control, such as your colleagues, your bosses, or it can be from your students, for those of you who are lecturers here. It can be from family, friends, it can be from community. Stress can come in many forms and from many other places. And please bear in mind that there's no such thing as we have no stress. Stress is unavoidable and it comes in very different level. The most important thing is how you regulate your mindset and your feeling and your actions that counts. So how do you manage stress and crisis? So what can you do about it? So workplace at crisis time, I'm sure some of you have seen this, that there will be gossips going on, rumors that might demotivate you a little bit. You have some form of expectation that the university wants us or the college wants us to do more research because it's to meet expectations. For workplace, for some of you who are lecturers, we need to teach, we need to accommodate our students' needs. There will be work politics, let's not deny that. And also maybe leadership. A leader plays a huge role in how things function in an office. So even a change of leadership does impact the dynamic of the group and how you feel about it. Many places right now are doing budget cuts, and it does impact someone's well-being because that means you need to find ways to earn more money or save more. The other thing is natural disasters that happens. Like for some countries, when natural disasters happen, they can't go to campus. And there will always be protesters out there. So those are the things, a lot of things that I've just quickly discussed about is what is not really within our control. So what can you do about it? Okay. My highly recommendation is when you have stress at workplace, try a breathing exercise. It works well with stress. So what is a breathing exercise? Very simple. Breathe in for 3 seconds. Hold for about 4 to 5 seconds. And breathe out for about 6 to 7 seconds. So what you're doing when you breathe in, hold that breath, and you exhale. What it helps you to do is actually forcing more oxygen to go into your system. And that helps to calm the heart rate. Earlier, I mentioned when you're stressed, your heart beats really fast. It helps you to calm it down. So if you find it trouble to sleep, do some breathing exercise. It will help you to sleep well in the night. If you're at office and you're very stressed, stretch. Stretch as high as you could, stretch your legs, just do some form of stretching. You feel better after that. Some people do meditation, but be very mindful of what's going on in your feelings and your thought process, because it helps you to think whether or not how you feel justify what was going on in your workplace. Express yourself. It's very important at workplace, find someone that you could trust, someone that could talk to you about, that you can connect with, talk about it. If you need to talk to a superior, I think you should try to talk to your superiors. Express yourself through art, music, dance, or workout. Another way to express your concerns or your stress or what is worrying you is through prayers. And I find that it's really helpful when we pray, for those of you who are not atheists. So another thing that brings us down at workplace and during a crisis is that it's very important for you to understand where the feelings are coming from. And we tend to blame, when things don't go well, we tend to blame ourselves, like we're not good enough at work, we are not competent enough, what can I do about it? And in some religion, or like even in psychology, we call that fault finding. It's easy for us to find fault in yourself, that you're never good enough, you're never pretty enough, you're never thin enough, you're never smart enough. And that is fault finding. And that could really damage your own self-esteem. It's as though you're punishing yourself. So please don't do that. Try to not do that too often. So give yourself some positive encouragement. If you notice some of your colleagues are being down, give them some positive encouragement. And you don't need to be a psychologist to read body language. We can sense, we can see the person that somebody needs some positive encouragement. It can be a simple compliment. Hi, your sari looks nice today. I love that color on you. That kind of thing. Again, reframe your mind thoughts. It's not easy, especially during a crisis, but that's why I say take time and reframe your thought process. Very important, when crisis happen, press the pause button. I know sometimes we are very busy, we're always rushing, our schedules are packed. Earlier they mentioned that we're very busy. No matter how busy you are, pause and reflect. Be aware of your body, your heart, what is your feeling, what are your thought process. Be mindful about it. Another good thing that happens when you take a cup of warm drink. When you have a glass of warm drink, it actually calms you down. Whether it's a nice cup of warm milk to make you sleep well at night. So always a warm drink helps a lot. Appreciate the beauty of your environment, your workplace. And also, what you can do is reward yourself. So if, let's say you've done, like today, let's say you have done a webinar like me. So I'm going to reward myself with a bar of chocolate, right? Things like that. Just reward yourself. Be kind to yourself. And another thing that I want everyone to bring home today is that please be kind to yourself. So that's the end of my presentation. Any questions? So let me talk a little bit.
Respected participants,
Yes.
the session is open for question answers. You can ask the questions to Professor Pang.
I will check. How
Ma'am,
can
the
you...
question is from the chat box, ma'am.
Okay.
How can you avoid negative people at work?
Walk away.
Yes, workplace.
Walk away, but there are some people you cannot avoid. because they are your team members. They are someone who sit next to you. So try to brush it off. Sorry, I'm busy, can't talk right now. Keep it at a minimal communication. But if I were you, if I see a negative person that's always very negative coming towards me, I will turn the other side. Yeah, so that's how I would avoid negative people.
Respected participants, you can write the questions in chat box too.
So I just want to share before somebody asks another question, is that why is it so important to be kind? I noticed during this crisis, this pandemic moment, I noticed that because we're all very stretched, we're all very stressed out because there's budget cut, there's more expectation at work. And a lot of times we care about other people, especially Asian culture. We always care about families. We give kindness to other people a lot. But I think it's also very important that you be kind to yourself because you're also a human being. And that, you know, if you are kind to yourself, you're able to give more. How to
Ma'am,
be...
one more question. How
Yeah.
to be positive amongst negative COVID atmosphere?
Stay calm. The term that we always use, I use, is the word grounded. Stay grounded. It's not very much being positive. It's basically how to do. It's basically try to show kindness because a lot of people are going through a lot of things. And I think in order to stay positive is to spread positivity. And how you spread positivity is basically show little gesture of kindness. So among this whole COVID atmosphere, smile. I know we're wearing masks all the time and we can't really smile, but you'll be surprised in psychology, we actually can smile with our eyes. So when you smile, the eye changes. You notice that I'm smiling. You know, sad face, you see my eyes will start changing. So smile. So sometimes a simple gesture of smiling to somebody does help.
Ma'am, one more question from participant side, ma'am. If some idea haunts me repeatedly and can't be avoided, what to do?
If some idea haunts me repeatedly, can you elaborate a little bit what are you referring? Is it
Attention
an
to the participant, please elaborate the question.
Yes,
Ma'am
could
wants
you?
to answer. Dr. Minati Shaka, kindly you can ask the question to ma'am. Ma'am will answer you. You can
Yes,
unmute your mic when you talk, please.
yes. Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes.
Ma'am, there are different issues regarding a relationship. It may be regarding workplace, which I want to avoid, but I know something is happening which is out of my control, but I cannot come out of that idea.
Okay. So okay, let's talk about your feelings. Okay, let's talk about your emotions. When you think about it, how does it make you feel? Think of one issue and then how does it make you feel?
Very much pressurized. My
Okay.
normal functioning is getting affected.
Okay. Let's talk about the mind now. What can you do about it?
I intentionally try to get out of it, do something else for the time being, but it again comes back.
Can you solve it? Are you able to resolve it?
No, actually, it is beyond my capacity. There are other persons also involved in these issues. So I myself, even if I try my best, I cannot solve it. The whole thing cannot be solved. I just try to take care of my mental health, but sometimes it is coming again and again.
So have you let the emotions out? Or are you still
No.
controlling it?
No, I'm controlling it.
Could you find one time to try to let it go?
I may try, but I have thought about it several times. But after that, I thought that if I let my emotions go out, then it will create some outburst in some situations, which later on it will be difficult to mend.
I totally understand. And I totally understand because sometimes when we outburst and it becomes a mess,
Yes.
and it takes us a while to pick ourselves back up together and start walking. But if that feeling comes again, you need,
Yes.
my recommendation is to acknowledge that it's happening
Yes.
and acknowledge that there's nothing much you can do about it because it involves another party.
Mm-hmm.
And then also ask yourself whether this feeling is valid. And if the emotion comes and it comes in sadness, let's say it's sadness,
Mm-hmm.
let it go a little bit. Let it cry out.
Okay. Okay, ma'am.
And tell yourself, okay, I'm not going to control my emotions anymore. I'm going to be kind. I'm going to allow myself for this whole week to let my emotions out slowly. And then tell yourself that, I'm going to be kind to myself because I can't fix it.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me give you one example. Like for me, someone has passed on for me, and I do not know. There's nothing I can do to change the reality.
Yes.
But
Yes.
when I think of that individual, it saddens me. It puts me upset. So what I would do is to think of the good times I had with this person and convince myself that I've accepted that this is my past. This person is no longer around, or this person can't do any. I'm not sure our scenario is the same, but basically you need to process and acknowledge that this will be part of my history.
Okay, I understand, ma'am. I will try. I will
Yes,
try to do it. And thanks a lot for sharing your views and telling tentative solution to my problem. I will obviously try.
yeah. If you need more, I will leave my contact email with Dr. Anuha, and then just email me. We can talk more because
Yes,
yeah, I
yes,
would
ma'am. Sure,
like
ma'am.
to. Yeah.
Thank you, Anuradha, ma'am, too.
Ma'am, one more question from YouTube link, ma'am.
Sure.
Somebody blame we are in a heavy work. How to avoid it? From Manikandan Krishnamurthy.
Could you repeat?
Somebody blame we are in a heavy work. How to avoid it?
How to avoid heavy work?
Yeah, blaming. How to avoid
Mhm.
that others are blaming that we are having heavy work.
How to avoid others blaming for having heavy work?
Yes.
How to avoid others blaming for. Okay, you cannot. There's nothing you can do. That I'm very sorry. This whole freedom of speech, everybody have the rights to express. There's nothing much we can do, but it's to only how you receive that information or that word. When people blame you or somebody, I don't know, blame you for something that you didn't do, even you did with a very good intention, and people still misunderstood you and mislabeled you or call you names, there's nothing you can do about the other person. All you can do is, what can I do about myself? So how do we, I would say if they want to blame and if they're going to backstab you behind at workplace, there's nothing much you can do. You just have to process it that that you did your best as an employee, and that hopefully things will work out. I hope that answered the question. If
Ma'am,
not, ask
one
it.
more question.
Yes.
One more question from participant side.
Sure.
I was under stress in my personal life due to 1 month failed marriage. But
Mm-hmm.
now this COVID time has disturbed my work also. My PhD work has gone late for 1 year. And with his fewer of COVID is spoiling my health. What should I do? This question
Um,
is from participant side.
Dear participant, I'm very sorry to hear that that you're under stress in your personal life, and that it disrupted your work, and also that your PhD has gone late. I'm sure it's very stressful because I'm also doing my PhD right now. So I cannot imagine the stress and the pain that you're going through. So hang in there, whatever it is, please hang in there. If I could give you a hug right now, I'll give you a hug, whoever this participant is. What can you do? Um, we can, first of all, be nicer to ourselves. I am sure you are a mature adult and you know what you need to do to take care of yourself. I personally believe that you need to take time off and manage yourself first, because the whole COVID is spoiling your health. If you can't be healthy physically, you're not able to give more things to the society or yourself. So please take care of your health first. Um, Try at least. It's not easy. Maybe a simple exercise also, I'm sure it will not be easy to get out of bed and exercise or do things that makes you happy, but you need to start somewhere. Just little steps, baby steps. And once you get your health back up, because if you're not healthy, right, your mind and your feelings will start to be very messed up. Um, so try to build your physical health first, then only worry about other stuff. Because like I said, you can only control yourself, but not other things. So focus on yourself first, be kind to yourself, love yourself, and hopefully from there, we can slowly bring ourselves back up. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you, Professor, for your nice counseling. Many questions from this participant side. One question is, how can I manage when someone demotivate in working place?
When someone is demotivated in working place, I assume that whoever asked this question, Narmata, how can I manage when someone is demotivated at working place? Do you want to motivate this person? So it is, how do you, if you know someone is demotivated, usually what we want to do is motivate them back at that person. But sometimes what you could do is just to check in on that person on why they are demotivated. It could be because of personal health, it could be because of family or because of COVID. It can be many reasons, and that person is bringing that stress back into work, and therefore that person is very demotivated. Be there for that person, pump their spirits up, try, but maybe most important of all is to be there with that person if you care about this person. Okay?
Professor, another question.
Mm.
For the past week, I could not concentrate. I'm going through emotional stress as my best friend in my workplace gave resignation. For the first time in my 12 years, I don't look forward to go to my workplace even if situation normalized. Please help me to overcome. From another
I'm
participant.
Yeah, I won't be able to help you to overcome. You have to make that decision for yourself. I know it must be hard that your best friend has been with you for 12 years, I guess. And now it's like there's a hole in your heart and you're not motivated to go to work. You're not looking forward, even the whole situation is normalized. But I'm sure there's a reason why your best friend at your workplace has given resignation. And I'm sure your best friend wants you to be happy if this person is your best friend. It's not easy because it's some form of a loss. But, keep the good memories that you had with this best friend as the main core rather than the resignation part, because you've been with this person for so many years. And resignation part is just a small little memory of it. So don't let that negative little memory stays with you. Let the good memories that that your best friend has been there for you. And keep in touch with that best friend, and then figure out where your best friend is going. Keep in touch. And I'm sure your best friend do not want you to be down or be in this situation too.
Thank you, Professor. Another question from participant side. Generally, the pets like cats and dogs are the best to reduce one's mental pressure instead of
Yes.
few people. What is your suggestion on this, please?
Theoretically, in psychology, it is proven that pets such as cat, dogs are best to reduce mental pressure. So if you want to have a pet, you can have a pet. Not everybody could have a pet. Like people who are asthmatic or people who are allergic to fur. Of course, you cannot have pets. Yeah. So, what is my suggestion? Is it suggestion for people who cannot have pets, or what would you be asking? But pets do help to reduce stress. That's why there are therapy that use pets to reduce stress, whether it's ducklings. I've seen ducklings. I've seen horses. They use horses for therapy. I used to do therapy with horses because I used to ride horses. So I have helped people to overcome trauma using horses. So that does help. Yeah, I hope that answers. If I'm not answering your question, please type again.
Thank you, Professor. Can I ask one more question?
Yes.
It is from participant side. I personally feel in today's hurry-burry lifestyle, mostly no one is bothered about other problems. So, need your opinion on the above query. Can it work? I repeat once again, Professor. I personally feel in today's hurry-burry lifestyle, mostly no one is bothered about others' problem. So, need your opinion on the above query. Can it work?
I'm sure there's somebody out there, at least one person out there, I always believe, that would make time and care about you. Because being busy, I live a very hectic lifestyle. I work hard. I have a crazy busy schedule. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a daughter. But being busy might not necessarily be a good thing. So I think we're all humans, and it's nice once in a while that if you can have one or two friends or people or family members that that will care about you. And I'm sure there's somebody out there that cares about you and love you for who you are, and they're willing to spend the time to care about your concerns, your problems, whether it's family problems or workplace problems. That person will be there for you. So we just have to find what is our social support that we have. So it's very important for you to find what is your social support.
Respected participants, ma'am have answered all the questions. Any questions from your side? Ma'am, one more question, ma'am.
Sure.
It's from Dr. Gayatri. Hello, madam. How are you doing? My question is how to overcome financial stress.
I'm doing well. Overcoming financial stress, unless money falls from the heaven or from the sky, then our financial stress has no issues. Financial stress will take a while. You need to talk to a financial expert on how you can, because it depends what kind of financial stress. There are many kinds. There's mortgage, there's debt, there is personal loans, things like that. And I think it's very important that you talk to a financial advisor. Most importantly, financial stress, because I'm not too sure what financial stress you're referring to. Financial stress also the term financial stress that I hear from people is the couple financial stress. That means that who's pulling on more weight, who is paying the bills, and things like that. So it really depends which aspect of financial stress that you are referring to. But yeah, so if you can give me more specific, that would help me to help you answer.